What's going on, guys? Throwing together a quick update video. Pretty much pointless to do it, but I like what I'm seeing so far, and I want to go over it. And I want to also touch on something I said yesterday that may be untrue, which I will later on in the video. So, with that being said, jumping into it, I want to talk about SPY first. I'm not going to even talk about today's price action or go into the micro on how things look. We're just going to look at this from a macro perspective for now. Because I saw something that really bothered me, and no one else is going to say it, so I'll be the one to say it. So, SPY, downtrend from January 2022 until January 2023 when we broke out of it, descending broadening wedge, diamond bottom here, from the low here around 348, I believe it was, could be wrong. We've done nothing but form higher highs and higher lows to the upside. We broke out of a 1 year long downtrend, found a top around 418.34, rejected that. I mentioned yesterday that this 418 level is a big deal. Rejected that when we broke out, came back down to test on the previous resistance as support, held it, found a bounce, came down one more time, broke slightly through it, and then reclaimed and found a bounce. And just last week, we finally broke the 418.34 local high from the breakout. Bullish as fuck. There's nothing not bullish about this chart. From this bottom here, higher highs, higher lows, diamond bottom, very strong bullish reversal pattern. Breakout, retest, confirm the retest, found a bounce, and crossed the local highs at 418. With a golden cross on the daily on SPY, which is a huge deal, very, very bullish. Not to mention, today is day 37 in a row, closing over the 200 EMA. Bullish. Very, very bullish. SPY looks fucking great. I said it from my first video, but while SPY was still trading in the descending broadening wedge, saying it was going to break out and probably be forming a new high. No matter how long it takes, SPY is on its way to a new high, and that's pretty much that. I went over the bars on SPY. Really no big deal here. You just have 2018 until present day tracking the 1997 to 1990 bars absolutely perfectly. Not a big deal at all. And we're somewhere in this downtrend here. Not in the downtrend anymore, but in this candle here where you break out of the downtrend. Here would be your all-time high at 480. And then the price action to come is a new high, probably 500 plus. Come back down, and then maybe around 550 we're looking at before SPY comes crashing down. When overlaid, I'm not even going to talk about that. We'll talk about that when the time comes. The low from the high at 500. We'll talk about that later on. But yeah, in the meantime, bullish as fuck on SPY. It looks fucking amazing. Everything about this chart looks amazing. There's nothing bearish about this chart whatsoever. Very, very bullish looking chart. Everything is screaming this thing is about to go on a bull run. It's been on a bull run. This thing is about to see new highs. Fuck anyone else who's saying differently. I don't care. Including, and you guys know how I feel about the news, these fucking people. The White House has warned stocks will plunge 45% and a deep recession will strike in the third quarter if the U.S. defaults. Everyone knows how I feel about the news. And, you know, somebody in my Discord actually linked this. It was a Twitter link. They linked it last week sometime. I think it was over the weekend. And I typed this into Google, and what do you know? 400 different news sources saying the same fucking thing. This is Business Insider. Fuck you guys. Fuck our government too. If you think that your government is looking out for you, you're sadly mistaken. Fuck Sleepy Joe. Too busy fondling fucking children. What did I say in one of my last videos? Wall Street, mainstream media, and our government will say things and will put things out in the news to make you make a decision that benefits them. Saying something like this is just flat out fucking outlandish. It's laughable is what it is. Especially since this news dropped over the weekend. Over this past weekend, this news dropped as SPY crossed the local high at 418.34 from the breakout. It's fucking laughable. It's laughable. It's pathetic. It's fucking sad. It's just fraud is what it is. It just pisses me off. Someone has to fucking say it. Someone has to call this shit out. I'll be the fucking guy to do it. Fuck them. Fuck the government and fuck Wall Street too. And Sleepy fucking Joe. SPY is bullish. It's going to new highs. Talk about injecting fear into the market at the absolute perfect time. With that being said, jumping into AMC, pretty boring day today. In case anyone forgot from yesterday, we're tracking these bars absolutely perfectly. Got the first bottom here in the tri-peak, and we got the second bottom, and we're in this channel. Not going to bother really going into this. I go over it every fucking day. There's no need. Nothing has changed. We're still tracking that perfectly. With that being said, jumping into this, I showed this yesterday as well. It's not updated, whatever, who cares. This is just zoomed in now, showing you the first bottom, the three peaks marked by the flags, the second bottom, and you're in this channel. We're in the channel. This channel that we're in, this uptrend that we're in, is the uptrend that will be taking us to all-time highs, our squeeze that we're looking for. One other thing I wanted to show is when we filled the gap at 405, March 16th, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, I drew the fucking channel. I drew it. Look, this is what we're tracking right now. And then from the gap fill at 405, 2.5 months ago, I literally drew the channel. Obviously, my lines aren't perfect. The bottom one's pretty fucking close. The top one's off a little bit, but the channel's there. And look, 2.5 months later, this was the gap fill at 405 right here. And, you know, the bottom trend line drawn off of that, and then the top one drawn off of this right here. I drew it down here at first. You know, it was off a little bit. Not going to be perfect drawing the fucking channel. You know, I don't have a high and a low to go off of. So, anyways, 2.5 months later, we're still in the channel. So we are tracking perfectly. We're just moving very slow. I could say that until I'm blue in the face, and there's still going to be people in my comments saying otherwise, saying, oh, you know, you don't know what you're talking about. What the fuck ever. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to be making a lot of money off this shit. I'm sure a lot of other people will be too. So that's that. We're tracking this absolutely fucking perfectly. So I drew the channel 2 months ago in advance. 2.5 months later, we're still trading in the channel. And here's the channel. So I went over 2 scenarios yesterday where we could possibly be. One being we'd be in the downside of January 15th, ready to gap up, and the other being we'd be in this this section here where you pretty much knife under the channel and trade under the channel for a while before you get into the January 15th iteration and come up and hit the top of the channel one more time. I also said I'm leaning more towards being here in the January 13th section here rather than being in the January 15th section here. It's tracking perfectly. It's just really a matter of where we are. It's either here or here in the January 15th section. I'm leaning very strongly towards this, and I'm going to show you that right now. So this would have been the projections. This was the January 15th projection. I said there was a possibility that you could maybe expect a gap up on Monday. I also said there was a possibility we could slow climb up to around 550, 560 before gapping up from there. So January 15th is still on the table, although I'm leaning heavily towards January 13th. There is still a case for us being in January 15th, and you know, today would have been the first of the upside that we're going to see probably all week to climb back to 550, close the week there, and then gap up the following week from there. I don't know so much about that. I'm leaning more towards this, where we're going to, you know, chop around here for a while, fighting to claim this channel again. So be it. Adds a little bit more time until we squeeze, but we're almost there regardless. No downside to worry about. You don't have to worry about any crazy shit. You know, we're going to be pretty much battling for $5 here for probably all week, potentially all of next week as well. We'll see how fast that plays out. And with that being said, into the micro tracking. This video is going to be pretty quick. Not really much to say here. So this is the micro tracking. If we're in fact in January 13th, I strongly believe we are. So from the knife here from the top, you break below the channel here. And this is the absolute bottom that you see, which would have been right here. From there, you bounce up and down over the channel. Find a top there, as you do here, slightly above the channel here, and then you come back down from there, kind of ladder down, forming a higher low than the original low here, which we have already done. Double bottom there, higher than this low here, and then from there, you bounce back up into the channel, over the channel, sorry, as we did, and then from there, you have downside, pretty much all the way back down to form a double bottom here. So if if my tracking here is correct, and this is what I was saying in the beginning of the video when I said I might have said something untrue yesterday, that we would never see sub 5 again, it is possible that tomorrow morning we get a pretty nasty sell-off back down to around 490. We shouldn't break the low, this low here. I believe it was 487 was this low. We should find a bounce slightly higher here. If we're in fact here in the tracking and you see downside tomorrow morning, break $5, don't panic. We should get that. That's what we should see, is a double bottom slightly higher than the 487 low that we have here, and then a bounce from there, pretty nasty bounce from there up until the 550, 560 range. And then from there you come back below the channel and finish all this chop up. So if my micro tracking is correct here, that's what we can be expecting for tomorrow. This is the January 13th scenario, which is this right here, where you're just chopping up and down, trying to claim this channel again, battling for $5. I also said that January 15th is not off the table yet. We saw upside today, slight upside, slight green today. It is possible that the rest of the week we climb slowly to 550, and then from there we would gap up over the channel to the $7 to $8 range. So that's pretty much it. Just throwing together a quick vid. Really not much to say. It looks good on the micro. The macro looks fucking amazing to me. This looks really, really good. Really like the look of this. It looks good. Really no complaints. If we are in this January 13th sequence here, the rest of the week's going to be boring. Like I said, it's going to be chopping up and down, pretty much just stuck in this range of $5 to 550. We might see a wick down tomorrow, possibly to 490, but that should be the low from there. And then after that, you're just forming higher lows here before you hit the top of the channel around $7. That's pretty much it. So far, so good. I just felt like throwing together a quick vid. Maybe I'll do it again tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see how the price action goes. I just felt like giving a quick update. So far, so good. So, still bullish. SPY's bullish. Fuck the government and the news and all that. Fucking, it's ridiculous. Honestly, it pisses me off a lot to see something like that after what SPY did last week, crossing the local highs from the breakout at 418. It's just sickening. Makes me sick. So, that's it. Very, very bullish. We look good. We're still tracking everything perfectly. On everything, the macro, literally fucking perfect. The channel looks great. Everything looks good. SPY's bullish, and that's pretty much that. So that's the vid, guys. Have a good one, and I will catch you in the next one.